3D modeling as we know it today is taking over a big portion of visual arts, media and entertainment today, which is cool in my opinion. It is practiced by amateurs and professionals from all different fields, making it one of the most popular, or let's just say one of the most essential parts in many industries. I mean, if you want to create cool stuff, animate something interesting, or do anything else, there's no limit. I also wanted to let you guys know that the Blender market is having right now its annual spring sale. So if you want to get items at a lower price, this is your chance to do so. If you don't know where to start, you can check the description of this video down below, where I chose and organized for you the best add-ons and courses. When we look back less than a century ago, 3D modeling wasn't even a thing, and there were only concepts written on papers in the form of mathematical equations and theories promising a bright future. I guess they never knew what was coming. Today, we're gonna talk about the history of 3D modeling and how it became gradually part of our everyday lives. In the 1950s, computers saw a big leap in performance and technology. They were developed especially for military and scientific purposes, far from imagining that artists would be able to benefit from that a few decades later. The first 3D software ever developed was Sketchpad, aka Robot Draftsman, by Ivan Sutherland in 1963. It was running on one of the biggest machines in the world, MIT's Lincoln Labs TX2 computer. You need actually a goddamn truck to move this thing, and you should be probably grateful for how computer science has become today. The program was interactive and allowed users to draw basic elements such as points, line segments and arcs directly on the computer's 7-inch monitor using the so-called light pen. Personally, I was stunned when I knew about this light pen because I thought that this is an invention of recent times. It was also possible to add modifications to the 3D objects such as position, rotation, erase, etc. In 1964, the collaboration between General Motors and IBM that started in 1960 was a success. They developed DAC1, which stands for Design Augmented by Computer, one of the earliest computer-aided design systems that was used to speed up the workflow of car production with quicker and better car visualization. This one also used a light pen and a set of buttons as inputs to allow users to manipulate images, but also draw, create, rotate, etc. These two software represent the first two major steps toward digital 3D modeling in history. In the 1970s, a lot of progress happened, starting with the release of Addon, which stands for Automated Drafting and Machinery, and that was in 1971. This contributed a lot to the availability of computer-aided design to people, as it was designed to run on as many machines as possible. During the next few years, universities were working hard and discovering more efficient technologies for 3D visualization, and at the University of Utah, new shading techniques were discovered for better rendering of lighting, reflection in addition to shading. To test his algorithms, a researcher from the same university called Martin Newell created in 1975 a 3D model of an ordinary teapot, which became the world's most famous object within the computer graphics community and the benchmark model for the upcoming 3D software. Just 3 years earlier, two students of Ivan Sutherland, Adam Catmull and Frederick Park, created the world's first 3D rendered movie ever. It featured an animated model of Ed's hand, in addition to face animations of several head models that represented the first CG physically modeled human face and hand, and Edwin Catmull is also the one who discovered texture mapping and depth buffering in the computer graphics field. The 1980s saw the release of several 3D modeling software, for example Rhinoceros in 1980 that was based on B-spline modeling, and AutoCAD in 1982, in which 3D modeling tools were introduced in 1995 with the release of AutoCAD 3D, in addition to ArchiCAD in 1987, which is considered the first architectural BIM CAD software. But these were mainly targeting professionals of industrial design only. Nonetheless, the 1980s were the beginning of the emergence of 3D in movies and video games, as we had the first extensive use of 3D animation in the action-adventure film called Tron in 1982, and the first photorealistic CGI character in the young Sherlock Holmes 1985 movie, and the first digital water simulation in The Abyss in 1989. Whereas in the first 3D video games, 3D models were wireframes for better handling of performance and real-time interaction. Battlezone was one of the most famous games because it was new and brought a lot of new ideas and concepts to the table. In the early 1990s, the modern 3D modeling as we know it today became a thing, with the release of today's most famous 3D software such as Cinema 4D, Modo, Blender, 3ds Max, Houdini, Maya, and so on. But the thing is, accessing professional programs such as these was extremely expensive, and you had to get all the hardware that make them run in the first place. But over time, it was becoming more and more affordable to everyone, which allowed many hobbyists and professionals to learn and create 3D models from their homes. We also have seen a big leap of 3D usage in movies, visual effects, for example in 1991's Terminator 2, in which CGI was used for achieving the first realistic CGI character movements, and Jurassic Park in 1993 with its photorealistic dinosaurs, also the Titanic movie, in addition to one of the most famous movies, which is the first 3D feature-length animation called Toy Story in 1995. Also, for those who wanted to learn, digital art schools like Digital Tutors and Gnomon Workshop began to show up early in the 2000s, and many others as well. In addition to online courses for all 3D software were being available to everyone, especially if you have access to the internet. Learning 3D has never become easier and accessible before, and a huge number of 3D video games and movies were released over the years, and using 3D became one of the most important parts of any production pipeline. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can also check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.